Alright, 2021 top 10. Let's go. Number 10 is Orcs Must Die 3 by Robot Entertainment. It was initially a Stadia exclusive back in 2020. I don't know what happened to Stadia, but this game surely stayed and made its way to other platforms. I played it out on PC along with a friend of mine, and when the game came out, we sat down and finished the game in one day, or at least a single player story. We did it in one day, which took us about 6 hours, and it was a lot of fun. So if you like tower defense game, and if you want to just hang out with some buddies and just lay some traps around, it's a really fun game. I would recommend it, and they have some new modes in this game where you defend like a castle. It's a large scale defense with different powers, so that was really nice. Anyway, a solid tower defense game given the price it's at. So let's move on to number 9. Oh, what a beautiful soundtrack. Okay, so in my last year's top 10 video, I picked Trackmania over F1, and I got some valuable feedback from my friends. So this year I take their feedback and I put F1 on number 9. I got to play 2 racing games this year, and this is one of them. It's a decent incremental upgrade from last year's game, and it's always a blast to do multiplayer with your friends. It still has a great career mode, and we also got a co-op career mode this year, which is a good addition. And then besides that, there was a Pixar movie included in this game, which tried to recreate some artificial drama to match Drive to Survive on Netflix. Anyway, going forward, I want some more physics improvements rather than some Pixar bullshit. Currently, it's at a decent price, but going in future, I'm a bit worried what EA might do. So, moving on to the next one. Take It 2 from Hazelight Studios, also the creators of Brothers and A Way Out. This one is a rare couch co-op treat. I had a friend over last year and I tried A Way Out with them. I loved the whole experience and we walked away with some good memories. It felt like a bit like Uncharted in a way. So good graphics and good game overall. This year I called over my same friend to play this. We managed to play around 4 to 6 hours for 2 days before she had to go. So sadly I never got around finishing it. However, we're close to towards the final section, so I can include it in this list. Overall, it packs a lot of punch with its creative direction, and I think that's why critics are loving it. I think it's a perfect couples game to try out with a partner, or even to achievement hunt with a friend. I felt the game was too long and it tried to do too much, like so long that we couldn't even sit for that long to finish the game. I mean, we had limited time, so it felt really exhausting towards the end. Alright, so next is number 7. Returnal, a PS5 exclusive from Housemarque that was very much under the radar most of the time. I had never played any of their games before, so I had no idea what this was when getting into it. Then I found out it is a third-person roguelike shooter game with a lot of mystery, unlike mysterious games. What I loved about it was its gameplay and the atmosphere. For some reason it reminded me of Interstellar and Inception, Maybe because of the soundtrack, it has a really cool soundtrack, and also the whole space theme and getting lost. It was super satisfying to get good runs, and being able to make it till the end felt like I should be allowed to put it on my resume. Also, during my run, I almost died just before the last boss fight, and I was in shock. It took 4 hours of continuous run to reach that point. I think that is also where my frustration for roguelike and Souls-like games come from, because that is part of the experience, and we can't do anything about it but retry and get persistent gear so that that one run could do it. Anyway, a solid roguelike exclusive that fell short a bit on the narrative, and it left me a bit confused. So I put it on number 7. Let's move on. I just love the soundtrack. This was my anthem for the last few months when I was trying to achievement hunt this game. This is the best Hitman game in the series because of how they have shipped all the 3 games together. You could play the entire trilogy and keep your stats from previous games, so buying the previous titles was well worth the money. Plus, it came with a free next gen upgrade on console for all titles, so you could play Hitman 1, 2, 3 on 60 FPS 4K, which was cool. Unlike some shitty games that came out this year with a fucking upgrade fee. It was so annoying. Anyway, I spent 144 hours getting all the achievements, and I don't think I'm burnt out of their current engine yet. It's a very good engine, and the way they integrate the maps and add on new locations, it's very intriguing, and I can definitely play some more new maps if they add. If you want to go on a world tour from your couch during the pandemic, then try this out. In these next 5 games, the order doesn't really matter. They are all a good example of a video game that is leading in a technical area in the industry right now. So, number 5 is Halo Infinite, the third part in the Reclaimer saga, continuing right after the events of Halo 5 Guardians. After an unfortunate delay last year, it set out to be one of the most anticipated games this year, and it delivered at the end. Between its previous game and this game, there might be some confusion for people diving right into the campaign without knowing the events that took in between. Apparently, it is supposed to be that way, and the campaign fills up the missing holes as the player progresses, or at least that's what it tries to do. It is set on Zeta Halo. If you have any memory of the second mission from the first Halo game, then the atmosphere is exactly like that, times 1000 the scale. It is big and it is open to go around. It takes good inspiration from Zelda Breath of the Wild in terms of exploration, and gameplay is so snappy it reminded me of recent Doom games. 343 still has to work on their storytelling to keep it less confusing for the players. I do have to credit the voice acting in this game though. Throughout the journey, the AI feels more human than the Master Chief himself. The multiplayer is great, with the only drawback being its free to play model. The community is coming in terms with it as they keep introducing new customization options every week. A perfect first person shooter for me, and I will probably be playing it the next year. After 3 years of long waiting, the fans finally got the next Forza game. It is the first next-gen Forza game, so the community was very excited, and so was I. It came out right before some of my exams, and I was so hooked onto this game that I had to remove my Series X for the time being. For those who aren't aware, this is an open-world racing game set in fictional Mexico. It takes cultural pieces from real-life locations and stitches together a rich world for the players to explore. The engine is also improved from the last game. Simulation on the cars is real enough to take the racing line seriously while also having fun driving off-road. Unlike the NFS series, the game engine is derived from a simcade rather than a pure arcade, which makes the handling, modifications, and tuning close to a sim racing game. Sound design is one of the best in any video game that I've heard. If it weren't for the glitchy multiplayer, this would have been my number one recommendation this year. Hopefully, things are sorted out as we go along, because I know as a Forza player that Playground Games want to keep this title alive for 2 to 3 years with their excellent support and new cars introduced almost every week. My indie pick this year is Inscription, a horror, puzzle, roguelike RPG strategy deck building game. It is everything. The best way to experience this game would be to go in without knowing anything, without any spoilers, and for that purpose I won't be sharing anything else about this game. I put this on number 3 because of the development effort that went into it from an independent studio. It has delivered its narrative in a way that I'll never forget. It can take anywhere from 15 to 20 hours to get through the story, which is more than some AAA titles this year. Given its price, I highly recommend it to anyone who enjoys deck building games. Let's go to number 2. Resident Evil Village is a first-person horror survival game by Capcom. I've been following Resident Evil games closely ever since the remakes. I like the remakes, and it seems the same engine is being used for the new games as well, so this one got my attention. I first tried out the 7th game, which is Resident Evil 7, a prequel to this game, and I loved it because of how scary it actually was to play. So naturally, I enjoyed my time seeing the events turn out in this game. While this game is more focused on action, it is more diverse than its predecessors in its environment design and gameplay. It takes some bold decisions with the narrative that fits along well in the universe. If it weren't for some specific boss fights in the game, this would have been my number 1. I'm very much looking forward to the next game whenever that comes out. Now, time to go to the final one. So this is the number 1 pick because this game was something I had less expectations from at the start, since it was only my second Ratchet & Clank game. However, it blew me away with its narrative, graphics, innovative game design, and the rich world with a set of diverse characters and places. I was being fed in by surprises left and right throughout the whole experience. Now this is a Pixar movie done right. It astonishes me how it is able to capture a wide age group of audience while keeping the gameplay deep enough for an experienced gamer. I made my family try this game as well because they wanted to see why I wasted so much of my money on a big ass router that is the PlayStation 5. And turns out they loved the immersion with the DualShock controller's tactile feedback. provides a 4D experience, with the fourth dimension being the feeling and the feedback delivered from the controllers. There's some difficulty issues with the puzzle level of the games. Because they're targeted to wide audience, the puzzles might be too easy or boring. But at the end, it didn't matter, as the overall experience was quite unforgettable with adorable characters. It is a good demonstration of the PS5 and its first-party developers' standards. So that was my top 10. Looking at this list, I can tell they are ordered depending on how much surprise and depth the game was able to deliver based on their development and team size. So thank you for watching, and please forget to subscribe.